The message arrived at Earth without ceremony. It did not come with threats shouted across screens or fleets appearing in orbit. It came as clean data translated into every known human language, stamped with the seal of the Galactic Concord. To the beings who sent it, the message was routine. To them, it was nothing more than paperwork. Earth was officially labeled a minor death world. The Concord's councils had studied thousands of worlds. They measured gravity, atmosphere, climate, and native life. Earth ranked high in danger but low in importance. Its storms were violent. Its wildlife was aggressive. Its people were stubborn. But its technology was young, its fleet small, and its reach limited. In the eyes of the Concord, Earth was risky to visit but easy to control. Diplomatic warnings had been sent months earlier. They were polite, distant, and full of conditions. Reduce military expansion. Share defense data. Accept oversight. Earth had listened. Earth had replied. Earth had refused. That refusal was all the Concord needed. When the final declaration was sent, it was cold and precise. Earth was now considered a hostile system. Military action was approved. The war had begun before most humans even knew it was coming. James Carter stood alone in the command chamber when the message reached him. The room was quiet, lit by soft blue panels and slow-moving star maps. James did not shout or curse. He did not even sit down. He simply read the declaration twice, then a third time, his face calm and unreadable. He had expected this. For years, James had studied alien doctrine. He had read translated battle records and council debates. He knew how the Concord thought. They did not fear danger. They feared uncertainty. Earth was both. James folded his hands behind his back and looked at the map of known space. Earth's system glowed faintly near the edge. Small. Isolated. Easy to circle with a finger. They think size is strength, he said quietly. No one answered. The room was empty, but the system recorded his words anyway. On the surface of Earth, the reaction was louder. Emily Rhodes watched the broadcast from a secure office deep beneath the Capitol. The declaration played on a large screen, the alien symbols already converted into clear human speech. The voice that read it was smooth and emotionless. It spoke of order, compliance, and correction. Emily felt her jaw tighten. She had spent years working on off-world relations. She had shaken hands with beings who breathed different air and saw different colors. She had argued for patience, for trust, for cooperation. She had believed war could be avoided. But even as the message ended, she knew the truth. They had never planned to leave Earth alone. David Walker stood beside her, arms crossed, his eyes fixed on the frozen image of the Concord seal. David had come from a different path. Where Emily spoke in councils, David had commanded forces in real conflicts on Earth. He had seen what happened when one side believed the other was weak. They don't understand us, David said. Emily nodded slowly. No, they don't. Around the world, the news spread fast. Cities paused. Traffic slowed. People stopped in offices, homes, and factories to listen. Some felt fear. Some felt anger. Many felt confusion. But panic did not come. That surprised the Concord more than anything. In their experience, new species broke quickly. Fear led to division. Division led to collapse. Earth did none of that. Instead, governments spoke with clear voices. Emergency sessions were called. Old rivals set aside disputes. Data flowed freely between nations that had once refused to share even basic information. Humanity had done this before. James joined the Global Command link hours later. Faces filled the screen, military leaders, scientists, engineers, and civilian planners. There was no shouting. No one demanded surrender or revenge. James spoke when it was his turn. They believe this will be simple, he said. They believe we are dangerous but small. They believe our world made us tough but not smart. He paused, letting that sink in. They are wrong. Emily leaned forward. What do you recommend? James did not hesitate. We do not rush. We do not show everything we have. We let them come. David raised an eyebrow. And when they do? James allowed himself a thin smile. Then they will learn what a death world really creates. Beyond Earth, the Concord fleets prepared with confidence. Admirals reviewed simulations that predicted quick victories. Their ships were larger. Their weapons were stronger. Their experience spanned centuries. They did not understand human history. They did not know about wars fought with broken tools and empty supplies. They did not know about people who kept going when logic said stop. They did not know about adaptability born from disaster. To the Concord, Earth was a hostile environment. To humans it was home. As the first alien fleets began their long approach, James looked once more at the stars. He felt no fear, only focus. Emily drafted messages not of surrender but of warning. David oversaw preparations that would never appear in public reports. Humanity did not cheer. Humanity prepared. The Concorde had declared war on a death world. They had no idea what answered that call. The first alien ships arrived without warning. They came out of dark space near the edge of Earth's system, their hulls smooth and bright, their movement clean and confident. To the Concorde, this was the opening move of a short war. Their planners expected panic, confusion, and desperate reactions. They expected Earth's defenses to break under pressure. They were wrong. Michael Grant watched the incoming signals from the bridge of a human defense cruiser. He was calm, his posture relaxed, his eyes steady as data flowed across the screens. He had trained for moments like this, not in simulations that promised perfect outcomes, but in drills designed to fail. "Confirm range," he said. "Confirmed," an officer replied. "Multiple ships. Heavy mass. They're slowing down." Michael nodded. "They think we'll rush them." The alien fleet spread out, forming a wide and open formation. It was impressive and orderly, designed to show power. To them it was also safe. Their technology was advanced. Their shields were strong. Their experience told them that younger species attacked without planning. Michael gave a quiet command. Human ships did not charge forward. They moved into strange positions, some drifting, some accelerating hard, others falling back. From the outside it looked messy. Even some human observers wondered if something had gone wrong. But nothing had. Michael understood something the Concorde did not. Space was not empty. It was full of motion, gravity, debris, and limits. Earth's ships were built with those limits in mind. When the first shots were fired, the aliens aimed directly at visible targets. Their weapons were powerful and precise. But many shots missed, passing through areas where human ships had been moments earlier. Michael's task group responded not with raw firepower, but with timing. Human weapons struck when alien ships adjusted course. Small impacts hit at the edges of shields, not to break them but to force corrections. Each correction pushed alien vessels slightly off balance, just enough to matter. The Concorde commanders did not panic. At first, they increased fire. They widened their formation. They tried to overwhelm. That was the first mistake. Earth's gravity wells pulled at their ships in ways they had not fully calculated. Small errors became larger ones. Heat built up faster than expected. Maneuvers that worked in deep space worked poorly near a death world. Michael watched as one alien ship drifted too close to a debris field left behind by old satellites and broken stations. Human sensors had mapped every piece. Alien sensors had not. The debris hit like a storm. The ship's shields held, but its movement slowed. Michael gave a single command. A focused strike hit the same weakened area again and again. The alien ship did not explode. It lost control. It drifted away, silent. Observers across the system took note. On Earth, analysts watched live feeds. They did not cheer. They studied. They marked patterns. They shared information across networks without delay. Every mistake the aliens made was recorded. Every success was copied. The Concorde expected fear. They found focus. Michael's ships took damage. Some hulls burned. Some crews were injured. But no one broke formation. No one froze. When something failed, humans switched methods without hesitation. One ship lost targeting systems. It shifted to manual firing. Another lost engines. It became cover for others. Every problem became part of a new plan. Alien commanders sent urgent updates to their superiors. The tone changed. The language became sharper. Questions replaced confidence. Why were the humans not retreating? Why were they changing tactics so fast? Why did losses increase with every minute? Michael leaned forward as the battle shifted. He saw the moment when alien coordination slowed. Their ships were still strong, but their timing was off. They hesitated between commands. That was the second mistake. Humans did not hesitate. Michael ordered a sudden change. His ships cut power, drifting silently. To alien sensors, they vanished into background noise. Seconds later, they reappeared from unexpected angles, using momentum instead of engines. The strikes were quick and controlled. Not reckless. Not wild. Effective. Alien ships pulled back. Not in panic but in confusion. They had never faced an enemy that treated combat like learning instead of contest. From distant observation stations, neutral species watched with growing unease. They had seen wars before. They had seen strong empires crush weak ones. They had never seen a species adjust this fast. One observer recorded a simple note that would later spread through the Concorde's data networks. The humans are not afraid. They are improving. As the alien fleet withdrew to regroup, Michael finally allowed himself to sit down. He exhaled slowly, feeling the weight settle in his chest. The battle was not won. Not even close. But something had changed. Earth had not been broken. The first contact had failed. And the Concorde, for the first time, had learned that declaring war on a death world came with lessons they did not want to study. The war did not stay in space for long. As the Concorde pushed deeper into Earth's system, they began to feel the weight of the planet itself. Their ships struggled near gravity wells. Their machines overheated in thick atmospheres. Their soldiers, trained for controlled worlds, found Earth and its colonies harsh and unforgiving. What they had called a minor death world was waking up. John Miller stood on a windswept landing field under a gray sky. Rain struck his armor in steady sheets, cold and heavy. Around him, human and allied units moved with practiced speed, setting traps, adjusting positions and checking each other's gear. No one complained about the weather. To them it was normal. To the Concorde forces watching from above, it looked like madness. John had fought on deserts, ice fields, and broken cities long before aliens ever arrived. He understood endurance. He understood that winning was not always about strength, but about lasting longer than the other side expected. "Keep moving," he said calmly. "They'll wait for us to slow down." Beside him, Daniel Hayes checked a scanner and nodded. Daniel had a quiet way about him, the kind that came from solving problems under pressure. He had helped design many of the joint operations now spreading across Earth-controlled space. The plan was simple. Do not meet the enemy where they were strongest. Pull them into places where Earth's rules applied. The Concorde tried to set up supply bases on nearby moons and stations. At first, everything worked. Then small failures began to stack up. Machinery jammed. Power systems failed under unexpected stress. Crews made mistakes from fatigue they did not understand. Human forces did not attack directly. They waited. They watched. They learned. Lauren Adams sat far from the front lines, surrounded by screens and data streams. She was not a soldier. She had never fired a weapon. Her job was to see patterns others missed. And she was seeing one clearly. Every time the Concorde adapted, humans adapted faster. Lauren tracked battles across dozens of locations. In cold zones, alien troops slowed. In hot zones, their gear failed. In places with unstable terrain, they hesitated. Humans did not. "They're treating each problem as temporary," she said during a briefing. "We treat it as normal." Her report spread quickly. On one jungle world, Concorde forces advanced in tight formations, relying on sensors and shields. John and Daniel led human units through mud, rain, and thick growth, moving on foot for days. They cut supply paths instead of attacking lines. They forced the enemy to chase them. Alien soldiers grew tired. Humans did not stop. When the Concorde finally tried to force a direct battle, their troops were already worn down. Human forces struck hard and then disappeared, leaving confusion behind. On another world, storms raged without warning. Concorde commanders delayed operations, waiting for clear conditions. Humans used the storms as cover, moving while visibility was low and sensors were unreliable. Daniel watched one such operation unfold from a command post. He saw human teams shift routes on the fly, changing plans without needing approval from above. "They trust each other," he said quietly. That trust mattered. The Concorde relied on strict orders and perfect execution. When conditions changed, delays followed. Humans relied on cooperation and shared intent. When plans failed, new ones formed instantly. Lauren updated her analysis. "Humans fight best when cornered," she wrote. "Pressure does not break them. It sharpens them." The Concorde began to understand that Earth was not just dangerous because of its storms or gravity. It was dangerous because it had shaped its people. Human soldiers slept in bad conditions and woke ready. Human engineers repaired systems with limited tools. Human leaders accepted losses and adjusted instead of freezing. Every defeat taught them something. John felt it during a long retreat that was not truly a retreat. His unit fell back across rough terrain, drawing Concorde forces after them. Alien troops pushed forward, eager to finish the fight. They walked into a narrow pass shaped by erosion and time. Human units appeared on high ground, not to destroy but to block and delay. The Concorde advance slowed. Supplies ran low. Morale dropped. When the aliens finally broke contact and pulled back, they left behind equipment, wounded, and questions. Why was every fight harder than expected? Why did humans seem stronger the longer the war went on? Lauren received reports from neutral observers. Their tone had changed. Where once they had spoken of Earth as reckless, they now spoke of it as resilient. The planet is a weapon, one report stated, and its people are part of it. As weeks turned into months, Concorde supply lines stretched thin. Ships required more maintenance. Crews rotated out faster. Confidence faded. Human losses were real. The cost was high. But Earth did not slow. John and Daniel stood together after another operation, watching the sun set over a scarred landscape. Smoke drifted in the distance. The air smelled of rain and metal. "They're starting to pull back," Daniel said. John nodded. "They didn't expect this." "No," Daniel replied. "They didn't expect us." Far away, Lauren closed her latest report and leaned back in her chair. The pattern was undeniable now. The Concorde had declared war on a death world. And the death world was teaching them what survival truly meant. The requests came quietly at first. They were not broadcast across space or announced with pride. They arrived as private signals, carefully worded and stripped of threats. Worlds that had once supported the Concorde's advance now asked questions. They wanted updates. They wanted timelines. Some wanted permission to pull their ships back. Losses were no longer easy to hide. Stations near Earth went dark. Supply convoys failed to arrive. Reports spoke of crews worn down by long campaigns and constant repairs. The Concorde had planned for resistance, but not for a war that refused to follow their rules. Fear spread where confidence once lived. On Earth there were no parades, no victory speeches. People watched the changing tone of the galaxy with caution. They understood something important. A wounded enemy could still be dangerous. Jessica Moore sat at a long table aboard a neutral station chosen for talks. The room was simple, designed to remove any sense of power. No flags. No weapons. Just seats, lights, and air carefully balanced for different species. Jessica adjusted her tablet and waited. She had been chosen because she listened more than she spoke. She understood law, history, and the cost of pride. When the alien envoys entered, she studied their posture instead of their words. They moved slower than expected. Their uniforms showed signs of long use. Some carried devices to help regulate breathing. These were not the confident representatives who had once spoken of control and correction. They took their seats across from her. One of them spoke first, its voice lower than the recordings Jessica had studied. The tone was careful. "We request a pause in hostilities." Jessica did not respond right away. In earlier messages, the Concorde had demanded surrender. They had listed conditions and punishments. Now they asked. "Define pause," Jessica said calmly. The envoy hesitated. That alone said more than any statement. "A ceasefire," it replied. "To prevent further loss." Jessica nodded once. "Loss on which side?" The envoy looked away. "On all sides." That was the moment everything changed. Across the station, observers watched closely. Neutral worlds had sent representatives to witness the talks. They had seen powerful empires negotiate before, but never from this position. Jessica spoke with steady clarity. She did not raise her voice. She did not threaten. "Earth did not start this war," she said. "We did not seek conquest. We defended ourselves." The envoys did not argue. They presented data. Casualty reports. Equipment losses. Projections that no longer promised victory. The numbers were large, but what mattered was the fear beneath them. The Concorde had learned that humans did not collapse under pressure. They adapted. Jessica reviewed the documents and then set them aside. "A ceasefire is possible," she said, "but not without terms." The envoys leaned forward. Jessica outlined them slowly. Withdrawal from human systems. Recognition of Earth as a sovereign power. An end to forced oversight. Open channels for future dialogue, not commands. There was no demand for punishment. No request for tribute. That surprised everyone. One envoy asked carefully, "You do not seek compensation?" Jessica met its gaze. "We seek peace that lasts." The room grew quiet. For the first time, the Concorde representatives understood something they had missed from the beginning. Humanity did not need to prove its strength with cruelty. It had already proven it by surviving. Outside the negotiation room, news traveled fast. Worlds once eager to support conquest began to distance themselves. Some issued apologies. Others offered aid. Many simply stayed silent, watching carefully. Human leaders did not boast. They prepared for failure even as talks continued. Defenses remained active. Fleets stayed ready. Jessica knew trust would take time. The envoys returned the next day with revised proposals. The language was softer. The demands were gone. They asked for mercy without using the word. Jessica accepted the ceasefire under the agreed terms. The signal spread across space, clear and firm. Weapons powered down. Ships held position. For the first time since the war began, silence replaced alarms. But on Earth no one relaxed. People remembered how quickly things had changed before. Jessica stood alone by a viewing port after the final session. Stars drifted beyond the glass, calm and distant. She felt no joy, only resolve. Humanity had not won by destroying its enemy. It had won by refusing to become one. Across the Concord, leaders faced a new reality. The death world they had tried to control had answered with endurance and restraint. And now, those who had declared war found themselves hoping the peace would hold. The war did not end with cheers or songs. It ended with movement. Across Earth's system, Concord ships turned away one by one. Some left quickly. Others moved slowly, damaged and tired. They did not fire parting shots. They did not speak. They simply withdrew, following new orders written with caution instead of pride. Human fleets watched but did not chase. Ashley Turner stood on a quiet observation deck above Earth, looking down at the blue curve of the planet. The surface was scarred in places. Cities had suffered. Stations still drifted in pieces. But the world turned on, steady and alive. Ashley worked as a historian and record keeper. Her task was not to fight or command but to remember. She collected reports, personal accounts, and data from every stage of the war. What she saw was not a story of conquest. It was a story of survival. The Concord's final notice arrived days after the last ship crossed the boundary. Earth's classification was changed. The old label, Minor Death World, was removed from official records. In its place was a new term, Resilience World. Ashley read the words twice, then once more. She did not smile. Resilience meant something different to humans. It meant getting up after falling. It meant fixing what broke. It meant standing together when standing alone would fail. Across Earth, life continued. Ships returned to repair docks. Soldiers went home to families who hugged them without words. Engineers rebuilt systems better than before. Scientists studied what had gone wrong and what had gone right. There were funerals. There were quiet rooms filled with memory and loss. Humanity did not forget the cost. Ashley visited one such memorial, small and simple, far from cameras. Names were carved into stone. Some were famous. Most were not. She noticed something in the messages left behind. They did not speak of hate. They spoke of duty, of protection, of hope that the war had meant something. Beyond Earth, the galaxy changed its tone. Neutral worlds updated their files. Trade routes shifted. Councils held long sessions where Earth's war was studied line by line. They searched for secret weapons or hidden fleets. They did not find them. What they found instead was cooperation, shared command, flexible planning, a willingness to learn even while under attack. One analyst wrote a summary that spread quickly. Humans did not win because they were strongest. They won because they did not stop. Ashley included that line in the official record. She also recorded something else. During the final weeks of the war, Earth had the chance to strike hard. Alien systems were exposed. Retreating fleets were vulnerable. Victory could have been complete. Human leaders chose restraint. They defended borders. They enforced terms. They let the enemy leave. That choice confused many in the galaxy. Ashley understood it. Humanity had learned long ago that survival meant more than winning fights. It meant knowing when to stop. As months passed, Earth reopened channels of communication. Talks resumed, slow and careful. Trust did not come easily, but it came. Some Concord worlds sent aid without being asked. Others sent nothing at all. Earth accepted both responses. Ashley finished her final report late one night. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of systems. She reviewed the closing paragraph, then saved it. It did not praise heroes or claim destiny. It simply stated facts. Humanity had been tested. Humanity had endured. Outside, the stars shone without judgment. Ships passed through Earth's space again, slower now, more respectful. They sent requests instead of demands. They listened. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Not all worlds were meant to be conquered. Some were meant to be understood. Ashley shut down her console and looked once more at the planet below. Earth turned in silence, carrying its storms, its people, and its long memory. It had not conquered the stars. It had earned its place among them.